Hey,
We're going to start this by, wait a minute,
sorry.
we're going to start this by, we have over the years talked about how important it is to know your Bible. So we're going to give you an example of why that's important.
Hey, Dan, I need to talk to you for a minute.
Go ahead, Jacob. What can I do for you?
Well, Dan, I want to be a disciple. I want to lead others to Christ.
That's great, Jacob. We should all want to do that. Do you know your Bible pretty well?
Oh, yeah, and I like it all.
Do you? What's your favorite part of the Bible? The Old Testament or New Testament?
I believe I like the New Testament the best.
Oh, good. So, what's your favorite book of the New Testament?
Well, I guess I like the book of parables the best. Yeah, the book of parables.
I see. And which parable do you like the best?
I suppose the Good Samaritan.
Okay, well tell me about it.
There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus who went down to Jericho by night, and he fell among Ali Baba and his 40 thieves who beat him, robbed him, and left him for dead. And he lay there 40 days and 40 nights. And a priest approached him and passed over on the other side. And a Levite approached him and passed over on the other side. And the death angel approached him and passed over on the other side. And he said, "What shall I do?" And he said, "I will arise and go to my father's house." And he arose and climbed up into a sycamore tree, but he fell out of the tree. For 40 days and 40 nights he fell. And part of him fell upon good soil, and part of him fell upon rocky soil, but most of him fell among the thorns. And the thorns choked him half to death. The next day, Solomon and his wife, Gomorrah, came by and found him, and they carried him down to the ark for Moses to take care of. But as he was going into the eastern gate into the ark, he caught his hair on a tree limb, and he hung there for 40 days and 40 nights. And afterward, Delilah came along and cut his hair with a floating axe head. And when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran, and fell on his neck and kissed him. And his father said, "Bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put rings on his fingers and bells on his toes, and a ring through his nose." But the faithless servant said, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him and seize his inheritance." And they stoned him and dragged him out of the city, supposing him to be dead. And he lay there for 40 days and 40 nights. And afterward he was an hungered, and the ravens came and fed him honey from a jawbone of an ass. The next day the 3 wise men came and carried him down to Nineveh. And on the way to Nineveh they passed by the Tower of Babel. And he looked up and saw Jezebel in her bathrobe of many colors, asleep. And he said, "Jezebel." And she arose from her sleep and went to her sister and said, "Sister, did you call me?" And her sister said, "I did not call thee. Go back to sleep." And she went back to sleep. And once again he called, "Jezebel." And she arose from her sleep and went to her sister and said, "Sister, did you call me?" And her sister said, "I did not call thee. Go back to sleep." And she went back to sleep. He got tired of waiting, so he married the ugly sister. And they wandered in the wilderness for how long?
40 days and 40 nights.
After that, he was swallowed by a whale, and he stayed in the belly of the whale for
40 days and 40 nights.
And after that, the whale spit him out on the beach where he met the 3 real estate agents in the Bible: My Shack, Yo Shack, and a bungalow. When Noah's 3 daughters-in-law who were named Shirley, Goodness, and Mercy, told him that Jesus was eating with the Republicans and sinners, but he went on his way without a word. After attending the contest at Mount Carmel Apple, he passed by the manger where he found Mary and Joseph, baby Jesus, and a little fat guy named Round John Virgin. But continuing on, he came to the temple where he found Delilah sitting on the wall beside the 3 Hebrew children. And he said, "Throw her down, boys." And they throwed her down. And he said, "Throw her down again, boys." And they throwed her down again. And he said, "Throw her down again, boys." And they said, "How many times shall we throw her down? Till 70 times? But he said, "Nay, but until 70 times 7. So they throwed her down 490 times, and she burst asunder in their midst. and they picked her up 12 baskets of the fragments which remained. And the final question, brethren and sistren, is this. The resurrection, whose wife will she be?
Wow, what a disciple. And I didn't think you knew your Bible.